There's something new in the air. It's like a balloon, but it's much more than that. The makers of a huge helium-filled cargo airship recently unveiled a prototype near Los Angeles.
Yeah, NASA and the U.S. military actually helped fund this prototype, and though it's smaller than what the final airship will be, it is still 75 meters long, not too shabby. VOA's Los Angeles correspondent Mike O'Sullivan was there for the unveiling, and I talked with him about the lighter-than aircraft. Let's start with a look at some of Mike's report.
The craft was built with $35 million in funding from the Pentagon and the U.S. space agency NASA. The final version will double the length and carry up to 60 metric tons in cargo. That at least is the hope of the developers, a company called Airos.
What is it being designed for? We see that there's funding, $35 million in funding from the Pentagon and NASA. So what's their involvement?
Well, the military, of course, is interested in carrying cargo to remote locations. And the thing about this airship is it can land anywhere without a ground crew or without any infrastructure. If everything works as planned, it could be used, say, also for fighting fires in a place like California. It could be used by air cargo companies, freight companies. Because whatever the cost of the helium and operating costs of the craft, it's going to be a lot cheaper than say a massive cargo airplane. And eventually it could carry troops, it could carry even, they say, tourists who want to sightsee over the Grand Canyon. So as far as they're concerned, there are many opportunities for commercializing this technology.
Now, you mentioned this absence of a need for a ground crew. So how is this vehicle going to be operated?
The company Airos has developed a technology, a ballast system that allows the helium in the craft to be either compressed or expanded. And as it's compressed, air is brought into the compartments, and that makes the craft heavier than air and it goes down. Or when they expand the helium, it becomes lighter than air and it rises. It also has vectored or turnable propellers on it. And so it is a hybrid aircraft that is either lighter than air sometimes, heavier than air other times, and is self-controllable. And it can hover to offload cargo, or it can land on the ground, and it doesn't need any kind of a crew on the ground to tether it, to hold it down.
And doing this story, you had a chance to get close to speak one-on-one with the founder of this company that's behind it, Airos. Tell us a little bit about him.
Well, Igor Pasternak is an interesting guy. He's an ethnic Russian immigrant from Ukraine. And he grew up with interested in aeronautical engineering, but with this dream of creating a new kind of airship that brings together the old lighter-than-air technology that's been here for 200 years or more, and creating something new with it to make a practical kind of airship. He created the company 19 years ago. He actually makes most of his money right now by producing advertising blimps. But his dream has always been to create this new type of airship. And I've interviewed him at several points over the years, and he's gotten, this has moved from being a dream to now we've got the prototype, and he hopes, if all goes well, within 2 or 3 years to be building the full-size model, which is double the size of the current prototype.
What I also thought was interesting is something that was mentioned in your piece, saying that it's not an airplane and it's not an ordinary airship. It kind of gives the sense of the line from Superman, it's a bird, it's a plane, no, it's Superman. So what really is this?
The airship has a rigid structure made of carbon fiber and aluminum. Sometimes the Airos craft is heavier than air and sometimes lighter. The company's founder, an immigrant from Ukraine named Igor Pasternak, says it's not an airplane and not an ordinary airship.
It's really their own category. It's new type of air vehicle.
And when can we expect to see this actually in operation?
Well, we hope to see an outdoor test of this prototype sometime this year, possibly in a couple of months. Now, if that goes well, they say maybe they'll be producing a full-size version in 2 to 3 years. We're certainly within a few years of seeing this technology commercialized, if it all works.
And again, Mike O'Sullivan is VOA's Los Angeles Bureau Chief.